We are live. Welcome in, brothers. Tonight we are stepping into the workshop lab to tackle a mechanical fabrication mistake that breaks a mistake that breaks a massive percentage of green helpers and residential installers. The second they try to run commercial raceways, wasting 3/4 inch EMT conduit with crooked, twisted dogleg corners. A lot of helpers think you bend pipe by pulling back on the handle bar with your arms. But the second you pull with your upper body, you remove pressure from the bender shoe groove, rotate the steel and cause an ugly dog-leg twist that ruins your interior space and field inspection. Tonight we are pulling back the enclosure covers to break down the exact body weight math multipliers, plane alignments. And the boot pressure heel trick. And the boot pressure heel trick on the Ontario Section 12 and NDCRT 358 on day one. Drop your conduit bending and commercial routine questions in the chat right now. Clear off your workbenches and let's head straight. You guys didn't hear that. Sorry about that. I was talking to myself. So let's read over this. We are like, welcome in, brothers. Tonight we are stepping into the workshop lab to tackle a mechanical fabrication mistake that breaks a massive percentage of green helpers and residential installers. The second, they try to run commercial raceways with wasting 3/4 inch EMT conduit with crooked, twisted dog-leg corners. A lot of helpers think you bend pipe by pulling back on the handle bar with your arms, but the second you pull with your upper body, you remove pressure from the bender shoe groove, rotate the steel, and cause an ugly dogleg twist that ruins your interior space and field inspection. Tonight, we are pulling back the enclosure covers to break down the exact body weight, math multipliers, plane alignments, and the boot pressure trick on the on the Ontario Section 12 and NECRT 258 to lock in a perfectly flat pass on day one. Drop your conduit bending and commercial routine questions in the chat right now. Clear off your workbenches and let's head straight to the whiteboard math. So we're going to go into the actual strength right now of the bending. Let me just pull that up. Again, welcome all who has tuned in. Again, don't forget to leave a like on the channel as you guys come in. Okay, so we're going to pull up the string cage and so on really quick here. Okay, so let's start off with a code maybe. Okay, so that's the string cage there, if you guys can see. And that's basically the multiplier there and so on. And I'm going to try to read it. You see the dimensions from Ben mark A to B and A to C. Spacing, it's got the spacing there, 1 times higher height, 3 times 8. It's giving you the measurements and so on for the actual offset the saddle bend. So it's giving you all the information there that you need here. I'm not going to read the whole thing out tonight. Predetermined saddle locations. Again, when you're bending your saddles, you just have to make sure that you take the center mark, and after once you take your center mark, you go back about 4 inches to 6 inches, depending on how big of a saddle you want to do. That's normally how you do your saddle. You can do your calculations also, and so basically an offset is really not what you want. Reason being is when you get an offset saddle that's off and so on, it's going to obstruct what you're trying to go over, the obstacle, and it's going to make it harder for you to even obtain that obstacle. If you have dog legs and so on, it's not really good to have your dog legs and so on. So you want to avoid dog legs, crooked pipes, and so on. When you're doing your saddles, also you have to keep in mind that your shrinkage is going to be a strength in your conduit. Once you do even if you do a offset, you're going to have a shrinkage inside of your. There's another perfect example here. It's a bigger, clear picture. Dimension spacing from bend mark A and B and A to C. Spacing 2.5 times height, 2.5 times 8. Spacing 30. Bend mark A is placed at appropriate of conduit, at center of conduit. So basically that's how you do your saddle. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take that off of here for now, and we're going to hop into the other segment here. So again, drop a 30 or 45 in the chat box right now based on what angle degree your shot runs the most for field offsets. So we're going to go to the bender board, and I'm going to show you what I did here. Again, if you can see here, what I've got here is a perfect saddle bend. You can see I have the tick mark here. It's a perfect saddle bend right over the 2-inch pipe I went over, and the 2-inch PVC pipe. Using an EMT conduit, I went over the pipe as an obstacle. You see my center mark right here. My offset is way in the corner there, and then my other offset is here. This here is a crooked pipe. So this is what a crooked pipe looks like. It's all dangle and so on. So you don't want to use a crooked pipe to do your offsets pretty much. You want to make sure that you have a perfect bend when you're doing your saddles, 3-bend saddle or 4-bend saddle. So dog legs, when you have dog legs also, dog legs will prevent you from, pulling your wire and so on. It makes you pull a little bit harder. Kinks and so on in the pipe, damaged pipes and so on. You don't want to have it damaged, so you want to avoid that. Again, as you guys come in, don't forget to double tap the screen. Like up the live, please and thank you. Helps with the channel, and welcome you guys all to the channel. So again, this is a perfect saddle bend over, as you can see, and I have another off bend pipe conduit here. You can see saddle. This is a 2-inch pipe. This is a 3/4 pipe. And what I did was I started off with the center here. Made another offset in the corner here, and then I made another offset here. Basically, my first bend was 22 degrees and a half. and my other two bends were basically an offset that I made to get over this obstacle. So when you're trying to get over your obstacle, you want to make sure you take your measurement from the center of the pipe. You go back to your first bend, which will be your offset, and then from here you go back with your measurement also here. That will be your next bend. So that's basically how a saddle will work, and obviously you have to play around with the saddle in order to have a perfect bend saddle. So I'm going to skip along here as I don't have much time here. So I'm going to skip along here, as I said. Again, thank you guys all for tuning in to tonight's live stream here. So that's what you call a tree bend saddle there. It's got A, B, and C. It's got the obstacle underneath. You can see the obstacle. And then you have your measurements to go over that. So that's basically how a tree bend saddle, you arrive to a tree bend saddle. And then you have obviously the code book here. I'm going to try to read this out here. Fazer glad someone talks about this stuff. Yes, definitely. Franz Ibrahim. Again, thank you for checking in. Don't forget also you can subscribe to the channel also. If you are on my small channel, you can join my bigger channel also. Fabian Electrical Services Inc. is my bigger channel. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull up the code book here really quick here, and I'm going to try to read it out to you guys here. Let's see what section this is here. This is this one here. So we're looking at 12 Rule 12-1010 of the Ontario Code Book. It says maximum spacing of conduit supports. See Appendix B. Also tells you all rigid conduit of one side shall be securely attached to hangers or to a solid surface. The minimum spacing of the points of support not greater than A, 1.5 meter for 16 and 21 trade size conduit. B, 2 meters for 27 and 15 trade size conduit, and 3 meters for 41-inch trade size conduit and larger. Also goes on to tell you rear rigid metal conduit of mixed sizes are run in a group. The conduit support shall be arranged so that the maximum support spacing will be that given in Sub 1 for the smallest conduit. It also goes on to say when flexible metal conduit is installed, it shall be secured by straps, types 25 or 215 cable ties. Yes, cable ties you can use to strap your to clip your conduit and so on. Also, other devices at intervals not exceeding 1.5 meter within 300 millimeters on each side of every outlet box or fitting. Where flexible metallic conduit is finished and for a length not over 900 millimeters at terminals where flexible is necessary. 12-10112 expansion and contraction of conduit tells you to see Appendix B, and it also says in location subject to extreme temperature changes, provision shall be made for expansion and contraction. I think that's contraction in long runs of rigid conduit in the form of expansion joints, or in the case of surface mounted rigid metal conduit, only 290 bends in the conduit run. And I'm going to go on to the next one here. I'm going to try to get through this stuff here, at least the reading. Again, thank you guys all for tuning into the live stream. Don't forget to leave a like on the channel. So we're going to go to, I believe that is tables B12-13. So that's basically a table that it sends you to. Using the back of the book, that's how you will get to here, and it's telling you type 1 and 11. Approve type of cable, the hot, not specifically approved in to provide primary support for flexible conduit, flexible tubing, or cable in accordance with the code. Examples of in approved equipment: to handle wires for circuit identification, or for routing wires, flexible conduit, flexible tubing, or cables. So I'm going to it looks like my phone is dying here. I'm gonna have to charge this really quick. Approved type of cable, the type but not specially approved to provide primary support for flexible conduit, flexible tubing, or cable in accordance with this code. Examples of uses in approved equipment: to handle wires for circuit identification, or to maintain critical spacing in cabinets, or to otherwise provide supplement means for routine wires, flexible conduit, flexible tubing, or cables. So I'm going to stroll along here really quick here before I play one video here and try to charge my phone here. So you know what, I'm going to play a video actually and try to charge the camera. Just give me a couple minutes here. I'm going to run one video here for all those who are tuning in, and then I'm going to get right back to it. So again, this is the conduit that I'm going to be working with today, and as you can see here, I've got my core line cutters, I've got my tape. Core line cutters, I normally use them to cut my PVC pipe ends, and as you can see with the pipe here, I've got basically tape at the end here in order to stop the gravel from going in. And basically what I'm going to be doing is running this PVC conduit to the other end of the wall, and I'm basically going to snip this off like this with my core line cutters. And I'm also going to place some tape at the end of the pipe, that way it doesn't get gravel inside of it. This acts like a coupling, same thing. This is how they come, 10 length. You'll get the, some guys call it a bell-end, but this is what you call a 1/2 inch coupling also. Normally what I do at the end, I'll place around my glue around here, that way it's firm, secure. Twist at the end to make sure it's not moving. That piece is done, and then we're going to move on to the other piece. opening at the other end. So again, welcome back to the channel. I'd like to thank you guys all for tuning in to tonight's live stream. Again, don't forget to leave a like on the channel as you guys enter. And again, this is basically, I'm going to run through this right here really quick here. So again, for all those who are tuning in, I'm going off the Ontario code book and NEC. So this is table 8 here. As you can see, table 8 is on the bottom, and it tells you the minimum allowance per conduit and tubing. I believe that's what it says here. And then it tells you, it gives you some numbers on the bottom here. So it's basically letting you refer. So that rule, the rule is going to send you back to this table here. They're all going to guide you back to this table here. So very important to follow the tables. So this is table 8 that you're working off of, and it's saying maximum allowable per, and then it gives you some codes there, 12-90218, 12-918. I think I can see that. So that's basically what that table is about, table 8, for all those who are tuning in. So what I'm going to do now is I have my bender here, and basically this bender here, if you are going to be bending your conduit, basically what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have, this is what you're going to be using pretty much when you're bending conduit. You're going to be using this shoe, and you basically don't want to override, put too much pressure. What you basically want to do is lay your conduit inside of here. Once you lay your conduit inside of here, you're going to place this on the floor, and you're pretty much going to take your feet. And the trick is, don't let this overpower you. You want to have all your strength. You want to be in control of the bender. Let the bender guide. As you push down, you will see what I'm doing here. As you push down, when you're bending, you push down, and you simply hold on upon your bender, and you let your feet do the weight. Most of the bending, very simple. And again, as you can see inside of here, you've got all different types of stuff here. You've got the 10 degree, you've got the 22 degree right here. For all those who are tuning in right now, you've got the 22 degree, 10 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree. That's normally what you go about using for your offsets and so on, and the saddles. Normally 10 degree is pretty much a box offset. 22 degree is what we use for the saddle. As you can see right here, the saddle, that's what I use for the 22 degree and a half to make my saddle in the middle. So that's basically how you go about bending for your saddles. Again, So you must use pure, 100% pure body weight on your foot to guide the bender shoe. Again, I just explained it to you guys how I go about it. It's very simple, and it's nothing too difficult. So again, this is a rigid, this is a plain bender. It's a 3/4 bender. What I do is I normally will bend 1/2 inch pipe in here also, but you have to be experienced in order to bend 1/2 inch pipe inside of here and not kink or ruin the pipe. As you can see, these are 3/4. 3/4. You can bend it also. You can damage the conduit, and what that does is that will give you a harder pull when you start to pull your conduit, your wires through the pipe. If you have a bent pipe, a kink pipe, and so on, once you start to pull cable, you're going to have a hard time pulling those cables through because you've now squished the pipe, and when you squish the pipe, you've now taken away the extra space that was needed for those wires, and so it's going to be a lot harder to actually pull those wires through the conduit. So again, when you're using the bender, you just have to be careful. You don't want to have any kinks in your pipes and so on. So you want to make sure that again, I'll demonstrate again for all those who are just tuning in. Simply no pressure on it. Let the bender, or you let your hand and stuff do most of the work. Your feet also. Again, you have to have some kind of body strength in order to do this also, because the pipe does get bigger. And you simply take your heel and you pull down like that. So very simple. Nothing too ordinary. So again, for those who are tuning in, I'd like to thank you guys all for tuning in. We are working off of the OESC 2024 code book, and that's basically how you go about bending and so on. So again, for all those who are tuning in, I'd like to thank you guys all for tuning in. If you missed the beginning of the live stream, you can obviously catch this on the replay. Again, don't forget to leave a like when you guys come in. Please and thank you. Leave a like on the channel. Helps with the channel. And I'm going to, again, for all those who missed the opening of the live stream, I'm just going to show over a couple pages here, and then I'm going to run a video. Again, this is just a perfect saddle bend, tree bend saddle, we call it. And you see the obstacle. It's the same thing like I have here on the board. Obstacles that you tend to want to go over. You have to make sure you get the center correctly. And once you have the center correctly, you also need to have your measurements on the end, like an offset. And you also have to avoid the shrinkage. Again, you will lose shrinkage. So the multiplier is very important when it comes to doing the bending and so on. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to run one video here for all those who are tuning in. Thank you guys all for tuning in to the live stream. Again, don't forget to leave a like on the channel. So I'm going to run one video for all those who are tuning in. So hello, welcome back to the channel. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in to Favorite Electrical Services Inc. Again, as you guys come in, don't forget to like up the live stream, like up the video, please and thank you. Today what we're going to be doing is a 4-bend saddle. I originally did a 3-bend saddle. So for all those who were mistaken, that was a 3-bend saddle. This is now the 4-bend saddle that I will be trying to perform. So again, this is my 4-bend saddle I'm going to be doing here. I'm going to place a mark here in the center of the 4-bend saddle, and I'm going to So again, I'd like to thank you guys all for tuning into the live stream. This is a simple uh, full bend saddle that I'm going to be doing here. Basically catching the center and so on and making your marks in order to have a perfect saddle bend. Marks are very important. Again, for all those who are tuning in, don't forget to leave a like on the channel. Very important. You can also subscribe to the channel, and you can also, or you can become a member of the channel and stay up to date to my okay. So yeah, this is a scrap piece of pipe that we're going to be bending. So four-way setup I have in the here. Obviously the four-way setup does not look like that. So we're going to go ahead. So again, that's another way of bending conduit. I take the bender and I flip it on the other side. Basically, I can either use the shoe or I can use the actual end of the bender. Again, it all takes technique to do this stuff. So if you see me using the other side, it's just because I've done it for years now, and it doesn't. It's not hard for someone who does it constantly to be able to take the bender and use it like that. You also have to have balance. So again, if anyone's got any if anyone have any comments, you can leave a comment in the comment section also. So I'm going to shift off of that. Again, for all those who are tuning in. Let me move this here off the screen. So again, welcome back to the channel. And again, for all those who are tuning in, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. So again, if you missed the beginning of the live stream, saddle bends, if you see the first pipe, the first conduit here, EMT Conduit, the X, this is a very bad dog leg. And again, you can't really use dog legs and bent pipes and so on because of the wires and so on that you need to get into the conduit. You have to take care of the conduit. So this right here is what we call a perfect saddle bend. As you can see, I'm using an inch and 3/4 EMT conduit to go over my 2-inch rigid PVC. So in the real world, if you are going to go over obstacles and so on, that's how you normally want to go over the obstacles. Again, you want to make sure you have your center mark, and from your center mark, you're going to shift down, make your first offset. You're going to take the same mark that you did on this other side from the center. You're going to take it and you're going to go over to here, and you're going to make that mark, and you're going to basically make a bend there. As when it comes for the 2 inch, you want to make sure that you have enough here in the radius here for a 2 inch saddle. So again, very important. A 2 inch saddle. You can obviously kink the pipe and so on, so you have to keep in take into effect the size of conduit that you want. So avoid wasting a whole lot of conduit, as we would say. So again, the one on the upper, that's basically an X. That's basically a normal. Here, where I have the tick mark here, that's basically how you go about doing your conduit and so on. So again, for all those who are tuning in, I'd like to thank you guys all for tuning in to the live stream today. Again, I'm going to run a little 2-minute video here. So a 2-minute video here. Let's see. So I'm going to run another video here. So again, welcome back to the channel. I'd like to thank you guys all for tuning in. And again, if you are ever in need of training for conduit bending, you can simply get a hold of me. It doesn't take much to train someone on this. So again, what this is called is a Klein 3/4 EMT bender. And this is what we use to bend conduit with. And as you can see, you have your degrees here and so on that you're going to be using. You also have the star that you're going to be using also. And you have your arrow here. You have your, as you can see, the marks that are here. So that's basically what the bender looks like. Again, I'm going to run. Welcome back to the channel, and if you're tuned in for the first time today, I'm Fabian from Fabian Electrical Services Inc. Don't forget to hit that like button. One of the most common mistakes I see even from licensed electricians is confusing grounding and bounding. They are not the same thing. They do not do the same job, and mixing them up can cause serious safety issues. In this video, I'll explain grounding versus bonding clearly using OESC 2024 rules so this never confuse you again. Bonding is about fault clearing. Its job is to create a low impedance path back to the source so overcurrent devices trip fast. Bonding connects metal parts, keeps everything at the same electrical potential. Bonding jumpers, equipment bonding conductors, bonding of enclosures, bonding screw, strap at service disconnect. OESC Rule 10-700, Rule 10-606. Grounding is not for tripping breakers. Grounding connects your system to earth for reference and voltage stabilization. Grounding electrode conductor. Grounding rods is what we use. As you can see, ground plates and so on is what we use in the field. Urge as a reference, lightning and surge dissipation. Code reference rules OESC 10-102, Rule 10-806, Rule 10-810. If you're relying on earth to clear faults, you're already wrong. People confuse grounding and bonding because they meet at one point, the service disconnect. Main bonding point is the main bonding point where you're going to be connecting most your grounding, bonding at the panel. Also, your neutral is bonded once, and your GC lands in there also. After this, your neutral is isolated. When it comes to your sub-panel wiring, sub-panel with bonded neutrals, it's wrong. Equipment relying on ground rod, it's a no-no. Floating metal parts, it's also a no-no. So again, in this video, I will break it down all to you, grounding and bonding, the key parts of it, metal parts being grounded off, bonded off, the whole 9 yards, and the importance of following the OESC 2024. It's important that you guys understand the difference between bonding and grounding. Again, they do not do the same thing. They're two different rules that apply in the field. And if you do have them mixed up, you can cause serious problems, not just to someone, but also to the equipment. So it's always best to make sure that you pay attention to what you're doing when you're in the field. I understand sometimes we have a long day and we get distracted, but that one little distraction can cause a lot of damage. So always remember, when it comes to the OESC 2024, make sure that your rules are applied accordingly. Make sure that you follow all code rules. Make sure that when you are disconnecting, when you are bonding and grounded,
if your panel is more than 6 feet away from the meter base, then your disconnect becomes the main source, your first bonding part that you're going to land. And after that, your sub panels, you're going to remove the bonding straps from your sub panel.
So let's say I want to bend at 12. Mark 12 inches. And I'm going to do the take up. For 3/4. So this is going to be a 90, okay? So I have 2 marks here. One there. 1 mark here. 1 mark here. This is where I'm going to bend. I'm going to place it on the arrow, okay? See, I'm eyeballing it, don't need a measuring tape, and that's how you do it. Now, we're going to get into the 4-bend saddle, which everyone has issues with. So I'm going to do the 4-bend saddle, and I'm going to cut some pipe. Normally, it's very easy when you don't use the full length of the pipe. So I'm going to cut off.
So this is actually a 3-bend saddle and not a 4-bend saddle, so correction.
So I'm going to leave this bend here. Matter of fact, I'm going to do the 4-bend saddle with the full length. So to set up a 4-bend saddle, we need the middle. That's my middle mark there. And then I'm going to come off of this mark. I'm going to go about 6 inches. So whatever I do on one side, I have to do on the other side. So 6 inches. So 6 inches. As you can see, normally when I do that, it's very important.
So again, the important thing is don't forget your table 7, and in table 7 you're going to find the relief of conduit or tube and bends. It tells you the serial 12-924, and also cables 8, maximum allowable per cent conduit and tubing. It tells you the serials 12-102, 12-9110, and rules 38-032. And it also sends you to cables B12-3. That's where you're going to find your cable ties, zip ties, and so on. You're allowed to use zip ties as a means of tying. Also from pipes 2 and 21. Approved type of cable. The heart knot specifically approved to provide primary support for flexible conduit. I did go through this already. It tells you type 2, also identified with AH-2, so type 2S and 21S, specifically approved to provide primary support for flexible conduit, flexible tubing, or cable in accordance with the code. And where you're going to find these main rules, you're going to simply find them in 12-1008, and that's under track engagement. 12-1012 also is where you're going to find the other rule. And it's expansion and contraction of conduit, tells you to see appendix B. Also 12 rules, 12-1010 tells you to see appendix B also. And it basically explains to you inside of these rules here. Also 12-12, we have number 2 is sending you over to 10-608. So always refer to your code book when it comes to your rules here. So again, keep your boots locked. Guide your center line plane and never pull with your arms now. Bending conduit is only step 1. If you want to see the advanced field masterclass showing how to calculate exact device, volume deductive and size, multi-gang metal enclosure cleanly without failing your roughing inspection, click straight over to my channel homepage right now and watch our complete long form box fill masterclass video. Hit subscribe, turn on all your notifications, stay safe out there, and I'll see you brothers on the next drop. Shutting it down now.